I'm scared.
Well, it's a scary time because this is a
And
real
people are
hot
scared.
war.
People
Yeah.
come up and people tell me about it. So I was in an Uber yesterday, and there's a man in there. He was driving, and he's like, "We need a revolution," you know.
Oh boy.
He's like, "You have a voice." He's telling me stuff like that, and I was
Oh
like,
no!
"Dude,
Don't take Ubers anymore. Stop taking Ubers. Rent a car, motherfucker.
I'm not renting a car,
Why would you rent a car? You don't rent cars?
bro. You think I'm gonna go be at the renting a car is insane. You have to check under, see if there's any dents in it, if there's any like, and then you have to do all this stuff. Renting a car is a nightmare, dude. I will tell you this story though. One time we did rent a car, and we got a dent on it, like a pretty good dent, and we caught a pigeon and had it shit over the dent to fill it in whenever we turned it in.
No, you didn't. This is not a true story.
Yeah, we did.
You caught a pigeon?
Yeah, you think it's hard to catch a pigeon?
I do.
Bro, bring up a pigeon getting caught.
Mike Tyson had a lot of them.
Bro,
Yeah, but he raised them.
Well, he
yeah,
had to
but
get
dude,
'em.
he had
Yes.
fucking autism in his hands after a couple years. You don't think you think it's hard to catch a pigeon, the dumbest bird ever, dude?
These are two people living in complete different realities, and you get to see it throughout the entire podcast. Let's talk about what just happened in that last clip. Joe Rogan can't comprehend the fact that Theo would take an Uber. And how could he, right? This is a guy with a security detail that consists of ex-military. General interactions with the public? No, that's beneath him. An Uber driver striking up a conversation with him? That's grotesque inside the bubble that he and his buddies like Tom Segura live in. And I love how Theo pushed back and turned this into a complete joke. Then we got to see another one of Joe Rogan's blind spots: comedy. He shut Theo's story down immediately, saying it isn't true. This was honestly a tough watch for me. There's nothing comedy assassin Joe Rogan hates more than comedy on his podcast. If the jokes don't go over his head, he shuts them down. And we've seen this time and time again. In this next clip, Joe Rogan starts off by talking about how Iran could be a diversion from the Epstein files. He admits things like this have happened before. But here's where Joe fucks up. He makes the mistake of mentioning Bill Clinton's take on Netanyahu. This backfires on him because this is exactly where Theo was looking to go, and Theo walks him like a dog on a leash into a conversation he wasn't looking to have. And what does Joe do? Immediately starts backpedaling by obviously playing dumb. What? Who? Think of your dumbest buddy. That's what Joe Rogan starts doing to Theo here. Side note, I'm going to be dropping a few videos a week. A quick like and a sub would really help out the channel. You guys are the OGs. Jamie, cue us up with that next clip.
And people are also scared because no one's getting in trouble for things. Like, no one's getting in trouble for the Epstein files. No one's getting in trouble for...
Yeah, that's almost disappeared, kind of.
Well, that's part of what happens when there's some sort of a big social thing. One thing that's in the past that leaders have used to cover up problems at home is a fucking war. I'm not saying that that's why they bombed Iran, but that would be a way to do it. If you're that psychotic, you know, and if you were thinking about doing it anyway, you might be able to justify it. People have always done that also to stay in power.
Oh yeah.
And even Bill Clinton said that about Netanyahu. Bill Clinton said Netanyahu wants war so he could stay in power.
For sure, dude. People call him the yarmulke Hitler. That's what they call
Who are
him.
these people?
Everybody does.
Which people? Come on,
Countless.
people?
Huh?
What are you saying?
What do you mean, people? You talking
Yeah.
about
What are you talking about,
black
dog?
folks? What
No.
are you saying?
I don't know
Oh,
what you're saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay.
Let's not draw conclusions.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
He seems like a great guy.
No.
All right, so things are about to start getting interesting here in this next clip. This is where you really start to notice where Theo's mind's at. He wants to talk about world events that are clearly bothering him. Theo goes on an epic rant about putting your own kids into war. It's funny, it's understandable, it's Theo Vaughn. But here's where Joe takes another sneaky turn. He acknowledges, agrees, and pivots where? To his military amigos and the defense of Israel. He says his friends in the military say you shouldn't be able to make decisions on war without ever having fought yourself. That's a valid take. That sounds reasonable. But that was a setup. Joe's playing chess with Theo in real time. Because guess what? Who's been to war? Netanyahu. This feels like a justification for what's happening in the Middle East. He's framing it as Hey, he's been to war. Maybe what's happening in Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran is for good reason. Maybe he sees something you don't. Maybe you're just a comedian who's losing his marbles. Play the clip.
How come you get paid?
I'm just sick of this shit. And I'm sick of rich people not putting their fucking kids over in these wars and shit like that. Put your fucking honky ass kids up there. Let them go shed some fucking blood.
Especially if you're asking for it.
Especially if you're out there fucking bullshitting, dude. Put your fucking honky little fancy ass fucking kid up there, man. That shit makes me mad, bro.
Well, I think there's also a problem. The people that I've talked to that have served overseas and have been involved and deployed in military operations and seen a lot of shit, a lot of them are of the opinion that you shouldn't be able to make those decisions if you've never been to war. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what you're sending people to do. It doesn't mean you're not still going to be a tyrant, because there are some people, like clearly Netanyahu's been to war. You know, he was in the military. He was involved in some shit.
Was he?
And he was like a special forces operator in Israel. And clearly he doesn't mind going to war. But
This conversation continues, and Joe's going to take a stance. Check this out. Joe says that Netanyahu clearly has no problem going to war. Theo responds saying war is a unique term. And just like a joke, this slips right over Joe's head. Theo reframes it so Joe can understand and says, I wouldn't call what's going on war. And Joe clues in that Theo's talking about the dark reality of Gaza. This is where Joe makes his move and frames Iran as the enemy. He skips over Gaza and says what's happening in Iran is war, and they're a real enemy. But Theo doesn't let Joe off the hook here. He directly asks, are they an enemy to America? And what's Joe's response? Well, they're the biggest sponsor of terrorism. Then tries to give Theo a history lesson on Iran and oil, completely shifting from Theo's point. Iran isn't an enemy to America, but here we are at war. Now, we're going to see Theo fire off some quick shots at the end of this clip. Cue it up, Jamie.
I think most
War is a
good
unique
people-
term.
War's a fucking terrifying
But I mean,
thing.
I wouldn't call what he does war, but I
You
see what
mean
you're saying.
what they're doing right now
Yeah.
in Gaza?
Yeah, and
there's-
I'm not
the
jumping
one
on
in
you.
Iran is war. That's war. Iran's a real enemy. You know, it's a different.
Are they an enemy to America?
Well, what they are is the largest country in terms of like state-sponsored terrorism. They're the largest sponsor of terrorism. But also, you got to think why. You know, and this is not excusing anybody for Islamist ideology, because it's scary, because they want a global caliphate, right? They're radicals. But you got to go back to what happened in that country. And if you go back to what happened in that country, they tried to nationalize oil. Iran was like a westernized country. Girls were wearing miniskirts. Everybody's hot.
You seen that video from the 70s of Iran?
Yeah, bro. Everybody
Tits are
looked great.
popping.
So-
Just popping.
What happened is slowly but surely, and quickly at first, because when they tried to nationalize oil, the CIA swooped in and they fucking got that guy out of office, and they allowed these Islamic, radicalists to start running the country.
Well, that's when
They kinda
Hezbollah
placed
started,
them.
right?
I don't know exactly when
Yeah.
Hezbollah started, but the point is the country was doing fine before we monkeyed with it. And we monkeyed with it because they were not getting enough of the money from the oil. So it was the British Petroleum Company, I think. Put it into perplexity, the story of Iran, their government being overthrown. I think it was in the 1950s. So when you see like how it all played out and why it is what it is today, Jesus Christ, you'd be mad too.
Yeah.
And when you're mad and you're surrounded by bigger enemies that all have nuclear weapons, you don't even have nuclear weapons, wouldn't you be trying to make them? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying Iran should have nuclear weapons. I don't think anybody should have nuclear weapons. They
But
definitely
Israel
should.
gets to have them.
Allegedly. This is the problem. Allegedly.
Everything's
they have
allegedly with
them.
them.
But allegedly they
Except
have
for the
them.
genocide.
They don't officially have them.
Right.
I don't think they admit they officially have them. And you know who was a big opponent of Israel getting nuclear weapons?
JFK.
JFK. Yeah. That's what a lot of people think led back into the left.
Oh, yeah. Before they killed him, who? I don't know.
So
What'd
the
you say?
Iranian Revolution.
I don't think Joe anticipated this. Theo isn't letting off the gas. He came onto the world's biggest podcast to speak his mind whether Joe wanted to play along or not. He keeps pivoting to Gaza with graphic explanations of what's happening. Theo states an opinion that he thinks Gaza was an experimental grounds for new warfare, and again, Joe plays dumb. Joe isn't here for it. Theo calls out Palantir for being involved in Gaza. And who owns Palantir? Joe's billionaire friend of the podcast, Peter Theo. Joe asks Jamie to pull this up on Perplexity for verification, which I'd assume is like a $30 million sponsor, but that's besides the point. Are you trying to tell me that Joe didn't know that Palantir was involved in Gaza? Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe that for a second. Let's see the clip.
Disappear? Oh, they think,
They
yes.
died.
Yeah.
They died.
That's an American pastime, accusing somebody and then getting killed. That's like one of the new, that's like baseball now.
Yeah, that's a nice way to keep people quiet.
Fuck, that's what's scary too. You're like, there's just a drone out there waiting for you to say the wrong thing. And they put a bullet through you like some child in Gaza who's just trying to fucking find his other deceased brother in a fucking pile of rubble. And they're like, oh, that's a Hamas or whatever. You're like, that kid's fucking 2. He's trying to move a piece of a missile off of a fucking body.
Well, drone warfare in general is crazy.
It's crazy. And they've been using that, dude. In Gaza, there was a lot of like, I think it was a experimental grounds for a lot of insane new warfare type of possibilities.
Well, a lot of it was traditional missiles, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of like we had a doctor one time podcasting, and he was saying that there were like bullets that had gone down a child, like just crazy, like
Shot down, like from a drone that's above them?
yes, like something in the air. And he said that there were drones in the air all day. You know, there's that Palantir company just keeping tabs on everything that was happening. And
Palantir's involved in Gaza?
Palantir was involved in Gaza, yeah.
For sure? Mm-hmm. Put that into perplexity. Because
Allegedly.
So how does that work? They have like facial recognition and ID software, and
That's scary. That's the shit that's just scary, dude. Because they have a huge contract to take care of all of America's.
And you ever see that dude, Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, the way he moves his arms around and squirms and talks?
Yeah.
It's very odd. Very odd. Like someone should tell him. People don't really behave that way.
He looks like he was, breastfed by a
Israeli
drone.
government began using Palantir software in 2014. It significantly scaled up its partnership during the genocide in Gaza, which began in 20. This is for sure a biased source, just by the way they phrase that. Which began in 2023. Palantir CEO Alex Karp said, "I am proud that we are supporting Israel in every way we can. Israeli military has used Palantir technology to plan attacks in Lebanon and Gaza."
This is where Theo drops the ball. He lowers his guard and becomes vulnerable, talking to Joe about his 20-year battle with SSRIs. Theo thinks he's sitting with a friend right now. He doesn't realize this admission would be used against him. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in Joe Rogan's court of law.
Good for her.
That's nuts that your tax dollars pay for that. Them figuring out how to make people stupid. How do I make Theo stupid? Let me slip something into his Coca-Cola. Let's figure out if it works. Let's experiment on random people and see what kind of results we get.
Then here's my question. Then, did you know whenever they introduced antidepressants, that changed like the cognitive therapy side of things, like in therapist's office, it totally revolutionized, like industrialized therapy, and it ruined a lot of people. I think. Like one of my goals is to get off of antidepressants completely, man. I want to feel how I'm supposed to feel, so I can have thoughts and actions that like make me feel connected to the world. That shit makes you feel dead, man.
So why did you take them in the first place?
Because I was in a bad relationship 20 years ago, and I was having a tough day at school, and they gave them to me, and then I never got off.
Really?
Because when you get off, I think we talked about this once, it's hard.
Yeah, it makes you more depressed and more fucked up, and you're all imbalanced, and you probably are addicted to them.
Yeah. And so that's one of my goals is, and I noticed like, for me, I've been taking like methyl blue. I've been doing some things like, and I'm working with a doctor to help me, but I'm going to get there, and I'm just going to start to take the power back of myself more.
Joe's realizing there's no stopping Theo. Whatever he tries to talk about, Theo's going to tie it back into Israel, Gaza, or war. People usually come on a Joe Rogan's podcast with an agenda. It's usually to plug a book they wrote, a comedy special that's about to release, whatever. Theo came on to talk about what's on his mind, and he did that until Joe literally had to frame him as crazy. Joe inserts a dagger in his chest. It's quick, it's brutal. Then Joe pivots to Canada and the guns being confiscated. What Joe is saying here is we can talk about global events, but only ones that are safe for me to talk about. Let's play that clip.
That was the most fucked up thing about people being all nonchalant about the border being wide open for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because men of military age entered into this country from foreign countries, and we have no idea why. We don't know if they're just honest people looking to make a better life for them and their families, send money back home. That'd be best case scenario. But that's not all of them. So what percentage of them are terrorists? What percentage of them? It's not zero. It ain't zero.
Yeah. But what also, it's like, it's all just a cat and mouse game. People are like, we'll elect the Democrats next time. It's like, but it's all the same shit has been happening forever. They haven't been helping anybody forever. They're letting fucking politicians slurp on kids. All of our fucking money goes to Israel, and they're using it to fucking genocide people. It's like everybody is scared out of their wits right now. It's like our religious leaders are afraid to speak out, and it's like it's a time where it's like Satan is amongst us, and our religious leaders are fucking talking about bullshit at the poll. It's just like, what is going? I don't know, man.
We got to get you off those antidepressants, son. You're losing your fucking marbles.
You think I am?
Come hang out with us. Just chill out.
I'm here.
Just chill out at the mothership tonight.
I do have to pee in a little while, but
You can pee.
I'm gonna pee in a minute, man.
We'll let you.
But no, people are just scared, dude. This is
They
shit
won't
that I
let you
hear
in
from
Canada.
people.
They won't let you pee until you give them your guns.
Really?
That's how they're doing it now.
But what if you have to wash the blackface off the president? Can you fucking use a little bit of piss to do
Canada
that?
So this is my take on the entire episode. Joe Rogan was the fear factor guy. He started a podcast and used it as a distribution channel to sell tickets for his stand-up when he was banned from the comedy club in LA. He grew that into the biggest podcast in the world. It built careers, disrupted politics, made him extremely rich and influential, and that brought very powerful people into his circle. People that he does business with, is friends with, and can't risk ruining those relationships over Theo's thoughts on Gaza. Joe Rogan isn't a comedian, a UFC commentator. No, those are hobbies. Joe Rogan's a businessman, and he's going to protect his business first and foremost. Joe Rogan wants to be a billionaire, and nobody's going to get in the way of that. Sorry, Theo. See you guys next time. Big thanks to anybody who took a minute to check out a new channel. I appreciate you guys. Cheers.